Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Little Chip Podcast.
That was so weak.
Okay.
Oh, God.
I just want everybody to know, well, first of all, welcome back. This is episode 5. I'm Kayla.
And I'm Andrea.
Just so y'all know, at the beginning of every episode, when you hear the chip cracking noise, we do that live every episode with a tortilla chip. That is not a sound that I found on the internet or we just recorded it one time. However, this morning, we don't have any tortilla chips, so we just cracked a Cheez-It.
And obviously it did not have the same effect.
But anyway, welcome back. This is episode 5. We have a fun one for you today. Might start a debate. But first of all, we also didn't have an episode last week. It's been a little crazy the last couple of weeks. I had to move again, and it was really crazy. But my roommate and I moved into our 2-bedroom apartment, and I don't know. I really love the 2-bedroom.
It's nice. It's really nice.
It's way bigger, way more room, obviously, than the 1-bedroom. Except it would have been nicer to have COVID in the 2-bedroom than the 1-bedroom. But that's neither here nor there.
That's all done.
Yeah, so we finally got it all decorated, and we had so much stuff because previous to living in these apartments, like me and Charlie, we lived in a house with another roommate, and we had so much stuff in that house. And so when we moved out, Charlie put all of his stuff in a storage unit, and I didn't realize how much stuff we had in the garage, especially of that house, because when he started moving things into the 2-bedroom and like setting up his room, and then I was like decorating my room, he was decorating his room or whatever, and then he had to go get more stuff out of his storage unit, and it's like all the stuff we had in the garage, and so it was just like out in the living room because we had nowhere for it because we're in an apartment. But I was like, where did all of this come from? And he was like, it's all the garage stuff, and I was like, oh, well, that makes sense. But it was just like, it's just so crazy how like quickly you can accumulate.
Well, yeah, like once you have that extra space, that's what it's just, I think it happens to everyone. You just start buying stuff and you're like, oh, I have plenty of room for that. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I have all this unnecessary stuff most of the time.
Yeah. And like at the house too, we also had that like Harry Potter closet that was like under the stairs. And so that was like jam packed with stuff. Most of it was mine, but I got rid of like a lot of that before I moved out of the house. But yeah, it was just crazy. So but we finally got the house or like the apartment all organized. I know,
it looks really nice.
Yeah, so really excited about it. So I was moving. You were in Philadelphia.
Philadelphia was amazing. Not the nicest people there, I will say that.
Really?
Yeah. There were, I don't know, it just wasn't like a friendly city. I guess we're used to our southern hospitality over here, where everybody just says hi and waves at each other and whatever.
Isn't it like the city of brotherly love though, or something?
I don't know. I forgot Philadelphia. I don't know, brother. I have no idea.
Oh.
Anyways, it's very historic.
Yeah,
obviously because of Independence Hall, the Liberty Bell, all that good stuff, and it was amazing. I had a really good time. And of course I did get to run up the Rocky Stairs, which is a bucket list thing for me because I absolutely love Rocky. Everybody knows that. It was okay. I did it without you. Sorry, you didn't get to go on this trip. But
I did. I'm not going to lie to you. When you sent me the picture of the Rocky statue, I did tear up.
You know what's crazy is it looked like I was like the only one standing next to it in the picture or whatever, but like people were waiting in line to get a picture with that statue.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I can imagine actually.
Yeah.
I also would wait in line.
Yeah.
Oddly
enough though, this is really weird. Oh, also, okay, the Rocky Steps, for those of you who don't know, are the steps that go up to the Philadelphia Museum of Art. And we also did go into the Museum of Art, and it was amazing. It was humongous. And they have even a cafe in there and stuff, because you could spend all day there. And honestly, if we had more time, I probably would have spent all day there. The art and the exhibitions there were like really, really amazing. But oddly enough, in all of Philadelphia, the only place I could really find any Rocky memorabilia or like souvenirs was at the airport. which was crazy. We hardly saw any souvenir shops unless you went, like at Independence Hall, they had a little souvenir shop. The Betsy Ross house had a little souvenir shop.
Oh, cute.
Yeah. So, but like, we need like a souvenir shop. And we walked a lot. Like the day that I did the 5K, I looked at my steps and it was 12 and a half miles of steps that day.
Oh my gosh.
It was crazy. Yeah. So I don't know. That part was kind of weird, but I mean, maybe people in Philadelphia are over it. I don't know.
Well, yeah.
Because they're just, it's such an infamous spot in the city. But it was a beautiful city. I would definitely go back. The Philadelphia people in the airport were really rude.
Really?
I will say that. Yeah, they were really rude. You can ask him about that too. They were just so salty. It was, I don't know. Anyway, but other than that, we had a good time. Had good food.
Did you eat a Philly cheesesteak?
We did. We did the Geno's and Pat's. Infamously, they
is that the one? Is that the one you're supposed to like get a piece of pizza from one of them and then?
I don't know anything about that.
Oh no. Okay. I listened to another podcast called the Hey Babe podcast, and it's like two comedians. It's freaking hilarious, but definitely not family friendly. But but they had a show in Philadelphia, or like not Philadelphia, but somewhere like in Pennsylvania, like close to Philly, I guess.
Yeah.
And one of them was saying that there's a thing in Philadelphia where you're supposed to like wrap a Philly cheesesteak in a big slice of pizza.
Oh. Well,
but Geno and Pat's was mentioned when they were talking about it. So.
Oh, I don't even remember if they had pizza on their menu, but like famously, they used to be one shop, and then the two guys split up, and the other guy built his Philly cheesesteaks spot right across the street, and literally, I'm talking like steps across. Like all we did was walk from one to the other, like right across the street, and we got cheesesteaks. Oh my goodness. We got cheesesteaks from both places, and at both places we got a mushroom Philly cheesesteak, and the mushroom Philly cheesesteak from Geno's was the winner. Like we all voted on it, but it wasn't the kind of Philly cheesesteak that you buy like in Texas restaurants. It was the cheese was dry.
Don't they have
the meat
yellow?
Was dry.
Doesn't it have yellow cheese on it? Like not American, but
no,
maybe?
You could get whatever like cheese you wanted on it. I think it was like I think we got provolone. But it was just, I don't know, it was not what we expected. In Texas, you're going to get the onions and the peppers. There was no onions and peppers on it, or maybe there was onions, I can't remember, but not peppers. And the cheese is all going to be like melty in there and like just so juicy and good, and it wasn't juicy at all. Yeah, it was kind of weird. Everybody was kind of like, huh. But I think the reason the mushroom Philly cheesesteak won is because
the mushrooms gave it some...
Yes, it gave it like some juice, I guess. I don't know. But that was the best one, in my opinion.
Well,
we did that.
I will admit that I was very salty that I didn't get to go to run up the Rocky Steps because that is also on my bucket list because as a young child... You made me watch the Rocky movies with you, and they became my favorite. So I was less salty than I was like a year ago. Because a year ago, I probably would have like just had a meltdown that I couldn't I couldn't go.
Spoiled.
But I just anyway. But I got a shirt.
You did get a shirt.
I got a T-shirt with Rocky on it.
That's so funny.
Okay, really quick before we get into today's like main topic, I started watching a show yesterday. Not gonna lie to you, I did you're gonna think I'm crazy, but I did take a break in this while I was binge watching this show to go like on a run and like get out of the house because I realized that I had been sitting on my couch like eyes glued to the TV watching the show for way too long. But I started watching this show called A Million Little Things. Have you heard of it?
Oh my God, yes.
Okay.
Yes. So did you watch it on Hulu?
Yes.
Okay.
So so what happened was I was catching up on Grey's Anatomy and
So what happened was
I was catching up on Grey's Anatomy, and then once the newest episode was over, well, I only had to watch the newest episode, but so I watched the newest episode, and then if you don't like exit out and go find another show to watch, it'll just like play a show that's the same vibe as the show you were just watching to try to get you to like watch new things.
Oh yeah.
And so I was watching Grey's Anatomy, and then it ended, and I like went to the kitchen to like pour myself another cup of coffee, and A Million Little Things started, and I thought it was a book, but that's like something, The Little Fires or something.
Little Fires Everywhere.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So when I saw A Million Little Things, I thought it was going to be that one, and so I started watching it and then realized quickly that it was not it, but it is so good. It kind of has the same vibe as This Is Us, but just way less emotional. Like, I wasn't crying my eyes out every episode. But basically,
I remember when the trailer came out, though. It was one of those things where I was like, oh, I'm going to watch that when it comes out, and then I never.
Yeah, so they're on season 4 is happening currently.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but
wait, what's the actual network it's on?
ABC.
ABC.
Yeah. But I started watching it, and like, spoiler alert, but not really a spoiler, because if you like look up the show, you'll find out. In the very first episode, it's a group of 4 friends. They live in Boston. Some of that, like 3 of them are married. 2 of them have kids. The one guy, he's like a single bachelor, like living his life. But one of the married friends, he takes his own life at the very beginning of the first episode, and it, like, basically the premise of the show is like friendship is not just one thing, it's a million little things. And so throughout the show, it's like, and they say too in the beginning, like, it's not how their friend passed away, it's how they got through it. So there's so many twists and turns just in season 1, and like, I'm really bad about, sometimes I'll Google spoilers because I like can't handle it anymore. Like, I need to know. But with this show, I'm trying really hard not to look up anything, because I just like, I want to get the full effect and catch up and like watch what's happening now. But I watched the whole first season yesterday.
The whole 3 seasons?
No, I watched the whole first season.
Oh, I was like, how many episodes?
17.
Oh,
yeah. And that's why I think.
So you got nothing done yesterday.
Yeah. Well, I did homework, and then like around episode 10, I was like, I need to get out and do something. So I went on like I went and did my mile, because I'm trying to do a mile a day. So I went and did my mile, and then.
So you're on a run streak.
Well, yesterday was day 1, but yeah.
I would call that a streak. Some people call that a streak.
But yeah, so I went and did that, and then came back, like took a shower, and then went back to watching it, because I couldn't stop. It's so good. The only actor in the show that I know is the friend that passed away, his assistant. She's also in Animal Kingdom. Oh, okay. And she's also only in season 1. But other than that, I didn't recognize like any of the actors or actresses, but you should watch it. It's really good.
I will have to watch that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So that's what I did yesterday.
Well, that's awesome.
So
sometimes you need a day like that where you just binge watch something all day long.
I've had lots of days like that this week.
Yeah, I never get those.
But anyway.
Mostly because I just can't.
Well, y'all don't watch a lot of TV.
I don't, because I'm always moving. I'm always doing something.
Well, like when I'm at work, it's like, well, where my desk is in my apartment, like I can't see the TV in the living room. So a lot of times I'll just take my laptop and like set it up and put a show on, so I have like background noise. Yeah. And that's how I like find all these shows to watch, is because it's just like background noise while I'm working.
Right.
And then if it's like a really good show that I get into, I'll like be like, I know what I need to be typing, so I'll be like typing without looking and like watch the show. But yeah,
I don't like to do that, because then I have to start over, because I'm like, wait, I missed some parts because I wasn't paying attention.
Oh.
But also, I am like in the middle of reading 3 books right now.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. So I finished, the September book was We Were Never Here, which was a really good book. I loved it.
Who wrote that one?
I forgot the author.
Is it like Sherry something?
I can't remember, but it was Reese's book club pick, and then someone in our book club picked it. But this month's book, Natalie picked it, and it's Mexican Gothic. Mm-hmm. And I started reading that. But in addition to that, I'm also reading Emily Henry's People We Meet on Vacation.
I'm reading that book too.
You are?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Whoa.
Well, I started reading it because it was one of the Book of the Month Club books like 2 or 3 months ago. And I got it, but I never started reading it. And then this lady couldn't stop talking about it at Barnes & Noble. Of course, because, you know, I make friends everywhere. And she was just talking to me like I was her friend. Yeah. And was telling me that I should also read the other book by the same author called Beach Read.
I read that one.
You did?
Yes.
Did you like it?
I loved it.
Oh, my gosh. Okay. So
I can give you Beach Read.
Okay, cool.
I read Beach Read in like 2 days.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I couldn't put it down.
Okay, well, this People We Meet on Vacation, right now, the beginning is a little bit slow.
Yeah, the beginning's slow. I actually stopped reading it, but I started it, but I bought both of them because if you go at the Barnes & Noble at La Cantera, if you go upstairs, they had a section of books that was all like what's it called?
New fiction?
Not new fiction, but it was like not friends with benefits vibes, but just like, I don't know, it was like romance, but like cute romance,
right,
not like, and I don't know, I just felt like
rom-com type stuff.
Yeah, and I felt like reading a couple of those books, and so I was like reading the backs of them, and then I bought Beach Read and People We Meet on Vacation. But
cool.
Beach Read is by far like the best book I've read out of like all, like even when I was reading all the
Colleen Hoover's.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna borrow that one from you.
Okay.
That one, and then okay, so this might even bring us to our topic today, which is toxic positivity. But my sister told me to watch this documentary on Amazon Prime, and it's called Heal. And I started it the other day, but I was only like half watching because I was doing other stuff. So I starting it over. But basically, it's documentary about how people, and mostly like in the United States, they're talking about, are just sick. Everybody's just sick now. Cancer, diabetes, autoimmune diseases, all kinds of stuff. And so this documentary is basically about how you can use your mind and like awareness to actually heal yourself, that your body can heal itself, and how your mind can actually create toxic chemicals in your body that create inflammation and disease and all kinds of stuff. So but one of the guys that interviewed on the documentary is one of my favorite Eastern, like, oh gosh, I don't really know what it is, but Deepak Chopra. I really love him. And he has a book about healing. And so I bought that book. So I'm reading 3 books right now. Mexican Gothic, People We Meet on Vacation, and this Deepak Chopra book. But anyways, that brings us to toxic positivity.
Yes. So... well, go ahead. Take it away.
So I'd never heard the term toxic positivity until you told me that I was guilty of it. Like, this was like 2 or 3 years ago already. And I was like, what? Never heard that phrase ever. And I never heard anyone put positivity and toxic in the same sentence, especially people who are positive all the time. And I never even thought about looking it up because I thought it was something that you just kind of like,
created.
Yes, I did. Your positivity is toxic. I don't know what you told me, something like that. And I was like, what? And then you said, yeah, it's toxic positivity. And I was like, oh, whatever. I really thought it was a phrase that you just kind of whatever. But recently, when you and I started talking about it, and I actually Googled it, I didn't know it's a whole thing. Mm-hmm. It's like there's a definition, there's terms that you can identify someone who's guilty of toxic positivity of, and I don't know. But so I did find this definition of it on this one website that I Googled, and it says toxic positivity is the belief that no matter how dire or difficult a situation is, people should maintain a positive mindset. It's a, quote, good vibes only approach to life. And while there are benefits to being an optimist and engaging in positive thinking, toxic positivity instead rejects difficult emotions in favor of a cheerful, often falsely positive facade.
What's the name of that website?
It's verywellmind.com.
Okay.
Forms of toxic positivity. When something bad happens, such as losing your job, people tell you to just stay positive or look on the bright side. Mm-hmm. While such comments are often meant to be sympathetic, they can also be a way of shutting down anything you might want to say about what you are experiencing. So I guess let me know how I fit the description of someone who is toxically positive.
I guess like when I mentioned it, well, okay, just for some context too, like you are very positive and optimistic about everything and everyone, and there's like never like, I mean, I know you have bad days, but it's just like, look on the bright side, and somebody always has it worse, and like all these things, and like you're really big into self-help books, and for the longest time, I have always in my head just been like, self-help books are obsessed. I was like, they're cheesy. Like, they're so cheesy. Like, motivational quotes are so cheesy. Inspirational quotes are so cheesy. Like, they don't do anything. Like, I was so, like, anti all of that. I mean, I'm getting better now. Like, I still think, like, sometimes I read an inspirational quote and I'm like, that is so cheesy. But,
and some of them are.
But I'm getting better at, like, trying to actually, like, be like, oh, okay, like, whatever.
Incorporate it.
Yeah, they're trying to help me. And I believe in, like, affirmations and all that. Like, I have affirmation cards that I go over every morning and, like, things like that. But Yeah, I was just super anti self-help books. And you also like would try to be really motivational, but like we have different ways of, well, I have like no motivation, first of all. And so we have like
spot on.
We have different ways of like expressing, trying to like be positive. And I felt too, like at the time, like I guess like it's not really a secret. Like I do deal with like a lot of mental health issues, and when you're like going through depression and somebody's like, oh, somebody has it worse, or like somebody or like it's only temporary, or like it'll get better. Like in my heart, I know all of that. Like in my heart, I know that what I'm going through, what I'm feeling, it's temporary. It's not going to be forever. Like somebody does have it worse. I know that, but my brain doesn't. Like in my heart, I know it, but my brain won't tell the rest of my body that. And so whenever I hear things like whatever's on your list, like what is it? Don't think about it. Stay positive. It's like I literally can't because my brain won't let me. And so especially like a couple years ago, before I really got the help I needed and like, you know, figured out what was going on with me, whenever you would say things to me like that, I just wanted to like punch a door because I was like, you don't get it.
Don't lie. You wanted to punch me in the face.
I was like, Mom, you don't understand me. But I mean, obviously.
And I wanted to just like shake you and be like,
yeah.
Oh, I don't know. It was so frustrating.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's still frustrating because I'm still dealing with it, but I feel like I've gotten better.
Yeah, you have. Yeah, you've gotten better. Well, here's some of the things. Okay, I also found this list, and it gives examples of phrases of toxic positivity, and then an opposite non-toxic and accepting statement. So, like the first one you just said a minute ago, you know, someone who's guilty of toxic positivity might say something like, "Don't think about it, stay positive." But the non-toxic version of that should be, "Describe what you're feeling. I'm listening."
Yeah. Why are you laughing?
I'm just because
I went down that list and starred.
Because I'm so guilty of a bunch of these, but
well, yeah, I went down that list and starred the ones that you have said to me before, and
it's
like,
no, I was wondering what those stars
and
were.
it's like half of them.
Oh my god. Okay, here's another one. I'm just laughing because I do. Oh my god, I'm so bad. Everything will work out in the end.
Yeah.
I do say that. I'm like, don't worry, everything's gonna work out. Yeah, I do say that.
So what should you be saying instead?
This is really hard. I'm thinking of you. But I feel like if I say something like that to you, you're going to be like, Mom, like, I need help. You're just thinking of me. That's not going to help me. I feel like you're going to say something like that to me. And I'm like, okay, well, but also like as a parent, it's so frustrating as a parent when you can't solve one of your child's issues.
Yeah.
And you have no power or control over it. And that has been the most frustrating thing about your mental health issues, is that I can't fix them. No matter what I do, what kind of example I try to set, I'm never going to be able to fix that for you. And that's been, well, I can help you. I can guide you to the right resources where you can get better and feel better. But I myself can't fix it. And that's really hard as a mom. And I think most moms listening to this would agree with that, you know, when your baby is little and they're sick, you know, you do everything that the doctor says to like make them better or make them feel better. They fall and scrape their knee, you know, you clean it and you make it all better. Moms always make everything better. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't make you better. And that was really frustrating, but
yeah. And I just wanted like disclaimer when I'm talking, like anything that I say about like my mental health issues, this is my experience. I'm not speaking for anybody else that has mental health issues because it's different for everybody. And I just want to like make that clear that like, this is the things that I'm going through and like my experience with these issues. Not just like a general blanket statement because everybody goes through different things. But I will say though, like as someone who's like struggled with depression and stuff, when you hear statements like everything will work out in the end kind of thing, again, it's like, I know in my heart that that's true, but my brain like just feels hopeless. Like there's just a sense of hopelessness and like nothing's ever going to get better. And so my brain just like rejects immediately. Well, it doesn't anymore, but it used to, like really bad. Like just anytime somebody was like, oh, it'll all work out, don't worry about it, I would be like, shut up. Like you don't know, you don't understand kind of thing. But like, but I mean, and it is really hard. It's really frustrating too, to deal with some of the things that I deal with because like, I know these things, like even though those are toxic positive statements, like I know that everything's going to work out in the end. I know everything's going to be okay, but it's like so frustrating knowing because like what I know and what I feel is so contradictory.
Yeah.
So
here's another one. If I could do it, so can you. And the opposite or the non-toxic version is everyone's story, abilities, limitations are different, and that's okay.
You do.
Oh, I'm so guilty of this one too. Everything happens for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. So the non-toxic version of that is sometimes we can draw the short straw in life. How can I support you during this hard time? Oh my God, I'm so guilty. Here's the last one on that list.
That I starred.
Yes. It could be worse. Oh my God, that's so funny. I say that all the time. And the non-toxic version is that sucks. I'm so sorry you're going through this. I'm gonna
You do say that to me though. You've said that sucks. I'm sorry you're going through this.
Yeah, because that's my I give up. I feel that like for me that is my I give up. I'm just gonna say something empathetic that I learned in nursing school. When you're learning empathetic communication, especially like if you were going to go into mental health nursing, you have to really learn to communicate and like pull things out of patients and stuff.
Yeah.
And make them, not make them, but help them to trust you so that they, open up to you and stuff. And I'm sorry that you're going through this. I'm listening to you. Tell me how you feel. Like those kind of things. And don't get me wrong, those are helpful, but I guess a little bit of the reason I think that I have toxic positivity is because for so long in my life, my growing up years and stuff were not happy. There were happy moments, but overall, I cannot go back and look on my childhood and say, I had a happy childhood. I just was always having fun and I had lots of friends or like like I said, there was happy moments, but overall it was dramatic. It was unpredictable. And that's a lot of the basis of my anxiety sometimes, which my anxiety is like way better than it used to be. But so at some point in my young life, I made a decision that I would not live my life unhappy anymore. Like no matter what happened, and that's why I read all these self-help books, because I feel like they help me to change my way of thinking to where I am more positive and I have happier. I can take a bad situation and still like be happy, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. That's the reason, is because I'm just like, I don't have time to be unhappy. I want every day to be happy. That's why I'm like, in the morning, I'm just
Don't
like,
do it.
Good morning. Oh my God. That's awful. I know. My coworkers hate me, especially when I would get to work at 4:30 in the morning and I'd be like, good morning. Good morning, everyone. The night shift hated me because they're like at the end of their shift and they just want to punch me in the face, I'm sure, because they're tired and they want to go home. And then the morning people are like, walking in like,
well, it's 4:30 in the morning.
Well, my shift was kind of an odd shift, but
yeah, you were in the middle.
But regardless, when I used to have regular like 7 a.m. shifts, yeah, people like.
Not everybody's a morning person like you.
I am a morning person, that's for sure.
I am that. I mean, I will say, like having like Charlie as my roommate. Neither one of us are morning people. So there's just like a quiet understanding in the morning. Like if he's like in the kitchen and then I get up, like. Because I have to sleep with my bedroom door open, so like Friday can go in and out and like get to the litter box and stuff. So like usually when I wake up, Charlie's like making a shake or something in the kitchen, and I'll like get up also, and it's just like an understood don't talk to me until I've had some kind of caffeine. And so it's just like quiet in the house.
Like both of you?
Yeah. So it's just like quiet in the house until one of us has had coffee.
So if you encounter each other in the kitchen in the morning, you don't even say good morning?
No. No, it's silent. It's just like, well, literally we'll both throw up a peace sign at each other. That's it.
My God.
Like I'll get up to take Maggie out and he's like up, and then I'll like walk past the kitchen with Maggie and I'll like turn and look in the kitchen and both of us just peace sign, and then I continue on and take Maggie out.
Whose kid are you?
I don't think a word comes out of my mouth. Like I wake up, especially for work, I wake up probably like around 7, and I don't think a word comes out of my mouth until like 9 o'clock in the morning.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think I was gonna say, like, again, going back to you, for some reason I don't really know, like I can't really put a like a pinpoint on it if it's been my whole life that you've been like this. Because I was trying to.
I've known you since you were born.
Well, I know, but like
Before you were born.
Obviously, I was trying to think about like if you've always been this. Like, and don't get me wrong, you've always been the most positive person I know. But I don't know if it's like, have you been using those statements my whole life? And it wasn't until I got older and like started taking psychology classes and like started going to therapy that I was like, hey, what you're doing.
I just realized that's how you diagnosed me. Duh, you have a degree in psychology. That's what. Oh my God. My own daughter was diagnosing me.
I do that a lot to people. But the thing when people are like, can you read my mind because you have a psychology degree? No, I can't read your mind and I don't want to.
Oh
but I can pick out things in your behavior that I'm like, oh, hey, that's kind of probably this thing.
Oh,
but
well,
I don't have the right at all to diagnose people. But I was like, you have toxic positivity. I'll diagnose you.
Well, what's funny about it too is though, like, I guess I didn't realize that maybe, like, my mom told me one time, and I think she told you, that I've always been a hugger. Like,
we've talked about this.
I just like love to hug. And I didn't know this when I was a kid, but obviously it makes you feel good.
Yeah.
It releases endorphins in the body and stuff, and hugging is good, right? But why was I saying that? Anyways, I remember one time when I was an adult, one of my little best friends, we were best friends like in kindergarten and stuff, and we were at each other's houses all the time. Not Bobby, but another little girl that I went to school with, elementary, high school. And she told me one time that when I would go to her house, she told me something about like how I was just always happy and would talk to anybody. Like, I had no problem talking to her parents, and that I was comfortable talking to her parents. Whereas when she would come to my house, she was really shy and like timid, and adults kind of intimidated her. But when I would go to her house, I would be like, hi, Miss, whatever, and Mr. whatever, and I'd say hi to them, and then we would play and have all this good time together. And I didn't realize that about myself. Like, so I don't know if I've always been like that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I did have very, especially when, you're growing up and you start realizing grown-up things. And then there was like, I did have depression. I don't want to say like clinical depression, but there was very sad times growing up. A lot of crying, a lot of feelings of hopelessness and stuff too. And that's why, like, at some point I was like, when I get out of here, when I grow up and I have an adult life, I'm not going to live this way. I'm going to have a happy life, and I'm going to have fun no matter what. And don't get me wrong, I understand that you still have to go through negative times, you still have to feel those feelings. And I'm not 100% 24/7. Oh, like, so-and-so died. Oh, well, it's, that's okay. At least he's not, a toxic positivity thing might be like, oh, well, at least they're not suffering anymore. And somebody who's lost a loved one doesn't want to hear something like that, I'm sure. But, yeah. I mean, I do think that you still have to feel the sad feelings, and you still have to you're going to get mad about stuff. And I still get mad and I get sad, but I just don't let it consume me.
Yeah,
I can move quickly to another spot.
It's funny that you say that, because like earlier you said it too, that like you, and I feel like you and Dad kind of are the same way about it, that like you're like, I don't have time to feel sad, or like I don't have time to waste feeling sad. But it's like, and I've told you all this before, like, you have to have time to feel those feelings. Because sometimes I'm like, oh, like I had a bad day, and y'all are like, there's no time to have a bad day. And I'm like, no, shut up. Like, yes, let me have a bad day. Like, let me cry. Let me sit on my couch all day and like wallow and have a pity party. Like, because like to y'all, that's not productive, and that's not like that's not what y'all would do, or that's not how y'all would handle the situation. But it's like, that's how I needed to handle what I was going through. And so I feel like sometimes we argue a little bit on like how I handle my emotions. But I
feel like they let them consume you sometimes, to the point where you do just sleep all day.
Welcome to depression. That's what it does. It consumes you. And don't get me wrong, like I've told you this too before, like I don't want to feel like this anymore. And like that's why I've been in therapy, but I went to like an actual psychiatrist and like got some additional help and another like perspective, I guess.
Yeah.
And like I don't want to feel like this anymore. I'm tired of feeling like my day's not going to get better. I'm tired of being like waking up in the morning and being like, I hate it here, like, or whatever, like dreading going to work. And I'm tired of having days where I literally don't want to get out of bed because of how sad I feel, you know?
But it's a vicious cycle too. And I just saw like a meme or something about it where it's like, you're depressed and so you're unproductive. But then because you're unproductive, you get more depressed. And then it's just like this vicious cycle of going round and round and round.
And like luckily for me now where I'm at with it, like I can pinpoint things in my behavior where I know like, okay, like we're starting to fall down the rabbit hole again. Like this week, I didn't like one thing that I know when I'm like, okay, I'm feeling good and doing my thing is when I make my bed every morning. Like that's just, or like I like actually have the energy to like get out of bed. I wake up early enough and I have enough energy to make my bed every morning. That's when I'm like in a good spot. And 2 days this week, I didn't make my bed.
Oh God.
And I didn't put my laundry away as soon as it came out of the dryer. And I didn't clean up the dirty clothes off my bathroom floor. And like this morning when I woke up, I was like, I haven't made my bed in 2 days and I still have laundry that needs to be put away. And there's dirty clothes on my bathroom floor. And so I couldn't do all of that before I came over here this morning. But I was like, okay, what's the first thing I can do to get myself back? And that's make my bed. So I made my bed this morning. So like luckily where I'm at now with my mental health and like my things that I go through, I can pinpoint my behaviors where I'm like, okay, Kayla, like turn this around, figure it out. And I try not to do, I feel like in the past I've been like, I need to make these huge changes because huge changes and huge like new things in my life will make me happy. And I've kind of come to the realization that's not it. So it's like, now it's the little things that I can do.
Atomic habits.
Yeah, atomic habits. It's like, what little thing can I do today to make sure that I do the same thing tomorrow? So like making my bed takes me 30 seconds. Yeah. I don't have I do have a lot of pillows on my bed, but like it's not like super methodical of how I set my bed up. Like I don't, so I have the pillows that I put on my bed and I make it look all nice and neat, and then it takes me like 30 seconds to a minute to do it every morning. And I have to make myself do that, because if I don't do it, then when I go to my bed at night, I'm like, oh, I didn't make my bed, and then I'm sad that I didn't make my bed in the morning.
Yeah. And then that makes you depressed, and then you lay down, and then you don't want to do anything, and then yeah, vicious cycle.
Yeah. So
totally vicious.
So this morning I made my bed.
Good for you.
But like again, it was only 2 days this week that I didn't make my bed, but those 2 days I didn't make my bed, I like felt a difference during the day.
Speaking of making your bed, have you ever heard of that? I think he's a military guy. And
The Speech?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard it.
About making the bed. It's really good. I can't remember who did it, but I'll have to go back and listen to it again.
Yeah. He said there was like, wasn't it like a list of like 3 things?
Yeah, it was like making your bed.
Oh my God. That reminds me.
I don't remember that.
Before we started recording, so this morning I told you I was going to come over when I woke up this morning, and then you texted me at like 8 something, and you were like, what time are you coming over? And then you texted me like an hour later, and you were like, bring me coffee. But I brought us coffee, and we got the same thing. And before we started recording, both of us were like swirling our coffee around. We both took a sip at the same time, and then we both looked at the bottom of our cup to see the pumpkin syrup at the bottom, all at the same time. And I was like, stop. We need to stop doing that.
Stop. Yeah.
But we've done things like that forever.
I know.
Like we finish each other's sentences, or we say the same thing at the same time, or like
I'll look over
our
hair.
Yeah. Why do you think that is?
I don't know.
You think we're just like cosmically connected?
Well, yeah, we're definitely genetically connected.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. You picked up some of my habits. Sorry.
I'll never forget, there was a volleyball mom when I was younger who said this to me, and it stuck with me because I think it's super true. But she was like, she was like telling me, this is gonna sound like I'm bragging about myself. She was like telling me how good of a like mentor I was to like her daughter and stuff like that, and how good of a volleyball coach I am. Not to brag. I think I'm pretty great. But
you are a good volleyball coach.
Thanks. I try. I love it. But she told me that I was dad in your body. She was like, you are your dad in your mom's body.
That is so funny.
And I was like, that's so true, because I think I look way more like you than I do like dad.
Oh, obviously.
But I have dad's personality, and
that's why you guys like to butt your heads.
Yeah.
And make me miserable.
Oh.
Put me in the middle all the time.
It can't be that bad.
No, it's not. Anyways, well, so on that positive note, why don't I just give a negative, let me give some negative feedback. I was kidding. I don't know how to do that anymore.
How to give negative feedback? You don't have to give negative feedback.
No, I'm sorry. Okay, I need to practice non-toxic statements. I'll practice these. That way next time you say, oh, this sucks. And I'm like, positive vibes only, Kayla. Good vibes only.
Well, I mean, I do have a poster, like a picture, like on my gallery wall in my apartment that says good vibes only.
Yes, I know. I saw it. And I liked that. I really liked it.
And I have another one that says live your best life.
Ooh, I like that one too.
Yeah.
Live your best life, because you should. I feel like, though, that there's this whole movement. Oh, well, let me just go back a little bit for anyone who knows who Tony Robbins is. This is how far back my, like, obsession with, like, self-help and motivation and all that kind of stuff goes back, is that when Tony Robbins was first out, it was, like, the late 80s or early 90s. And I ordered all of his cassette tapes. Cassette tapes. They were cassette tapes, and I remember getting them, and Dad was like, what is that? And I'm like, it's Tony Robbins. And he was like, had all these motivational speeches, and like, and so I guess it has been all my life, you know, that maybe that was I think that was kind of like the beginning of my own personal search for like how to change your circumstances, or change how you see your circumstances into like positive and motivational. And I mean, Tony Robbins is like amazing, but like, I feel like right now I don't know if it's a movement right now, if you could call it a movement, but there's so much of that, like on the internet, like motivational stuff, right? Oh. And I guess toxic positivity and like self-help is a huge thing right now. And, like those Rachel Hollis books, which I recently read something negative about her too, because I don't know. It's just, I don't know. Anyways.
Well, I think there's like a bigger like surge of it now because of the fact that, especially like we talked about it in an earlier episode, like my generation has a lot of mental health issues.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And so I feel like there's probably a bigger surge of those types of books and like movement, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Because like, I mean, we don't need a whole generation of kids on medication.
No.
So
no.
That would be like horrible.
It's toxic.
Yeah. So
in fact, you should watch this show on Amazon Prime, The Heal documentary. It's very, very interesting.
Actually, in A Million Little Things, one of the characters goes through like he has depression and he gets on medication, and then it's like it kind of made me sad because like I'm so open and honest about my experience with it, and I like tell you all about it, and I like don't really care. Like I'll talk to anybody about it because I feel like what I've gone through can help other people. Yeah. So I don't mind talking about it, and it doesn't like hurt me to talk about it. But in the show, like this character just felt like he had to hide it from everybody, and I don't know. I just feel like that's sad. That like people feel like they have to hide how they feel.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
but yeah, they talk about so much stuff on that show, like mental health. 2 of the characters have breast cancer.
Oh gosh.
There was like infidelity. Just like the show is so crazy good though, so I highly recommend A Million Little Things. But
Well, okay, here, just going back to it real quick, this website, Very Well Mind, says why it's harmful, why toxic positivity is harmful. Toxic positivity can actually harm people who are going through difficult times. Rather than being able to share genuine human emotions and gain unconditional support, people find their feelings dismissed, ignored, or outright invalidated. It's shaming. When someone is suffering, they need to know that their emotions are valid, but that they can find relief and love in their friends and family. Toxic positivity tells people that the emotions they are feeling are unacceptable. Oh, gosh. Okay.
I have felt that way before.
From me?
Mm-hmm.
That your feelings are not valid?
That they're like dismissed.
Oh. Sorry.
It's okay. But I know, like, the thing is, too, like, I know when you're saying these things to me, like, you're not trying to be, like, toxic in any means. I'm not.
I'm just trying to be like, come on, Kayla, snap out of it. You know, I'm just like, come on, you can do it. Yeah.
Yeah, but we're working on it.
Yes.
It's a day-to-day thing.
No. Every day is progress.
Every day is progress.
Or, you know, sometimes you take a step back, but just keep moving forward.
Yeah, I do feel like, well, prior to, like, I feel like this last 2-3 months, I've definitely gotten, like, way better mental health wise. But at one point, it felt like I was taking 1 step forward, 3 steps back. And it was, like, so difficult, and I was just over it. And now I feel like I can take, like, the opposite. I can take, like, 3 steps forward and then maybe, like, a half step back. And then, like, you know.
You're always going to have little setbacks. And I mean, yeah. I'm just going to be, I mean, this is just my own opinion, but everybody forever, for their whole life, I feel, is a work in progress.
Yeah, absolutely.
And nobody knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what they're doing half the time. I promise you.
Yeah.
I don't care. You see it on, you know, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. It looks like somebody has it all together. I promise you they don't.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's something that they don't know what they're doing. Anyways.
Well,
on that note,
that was this week's
It
episode.
Is what it is. No, just kidding.
On that note, it could be worse. I'm just kidding. All right, well, that's this week's episode. Thank you guys for listening.
Hope you enjoyed it.
Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Little Chip Podcast. On YouTube, just look up Little Chip Podcast. Will pop up. Subscribe, like, give a thumbs up to the videos, even though there's no video. It's just, you know, the audio. Once again, we are now officially up on all streaming platforms. So tell your friends, even if they have an Android, they can listen on Google. What else? Oh, also, if you go to littlechippodcast.com and go to I think it's under the About Us section, you can send us an email on anything you want us to cover, topics, questions, whatever. We want to hear it all. And then, yeah, that's all.
Alrighty.
See ya.
See you next week. Big kiss, little kiss.
Big hug, little hug.